Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum to all of you. I hope that you all are fine, happy and fresh. This is your science teacher, Muhammad Mashood Khan, and today we are going to discuss the question answer of chapter number 4, page number 55 and 57. So let's start. Question number 1 is, in what units is the size of an electric current measured? The answer of the question is, electric current is measured in amperes, or simply we write amps. So the unit of measurement in which we measure the electric current, the unit we use is ampere, or simply we can say amp. We have discussed in the previous lecture that what is electricity, what electrical devices are used to measure the electricity, and now in this question it was asked that what is the unit in which we measure the electricity. So it is ampere. The next question is, what device is used to measure current flow accurately? The answer of the question is, an ammeter is used to measure current flow accurately. So in this question you were asked that what is the electrical device with which you can, or what is the device which is used to measure the current flow? So the name of the device is an ammeter. An ammeter, I have discussed this in detail in the previous lecture. So if you want to go into the detail of the ammeter, so you can check out the previous video. But an ammeter is the device which is used to measure the current accurately. The next question is, what does the symbol A stands for? The answer is, the symbol capital A means amperes, or simply we can write amps, amps. So this capital A is basically representing the unit of measuring of electricity, that is ampere. So instead of writing ampere, that is a big word, so instead of writing this, we can just simply write this alphabet capital A, which will be meaning that it is ampere. So instead of writing ampere, you can just write capital A in the inverted commas. The next question is, describe how would you connect an ammeter into an electrical circuit correctly? The answer of the question is, the positive connector of the ammeter should be connected to the positive terminal of the battery, and the negative terminal of the ammeter should be connected to the negative terminal of the battery. Yes, we have discussed this earlier also, and let me explain it again, that how to connect an ammeter in the circuit correctly. So what you do, that you have two terminals of the battery and two terminals in the ammeter. So one is positive and one is negative in both. So you have to connect the positive terminal of an ammeter with the positive terminal of the battery, and negative terminal of the battery with the negative terminal of an ammeter. This is the correct way to connect the ammeter in the circuit. In this way it will give you the correct, accurate reading. I hope that you have understood this. The next question is, if a current of 4 amperes flows into a bulb, how much current flows out of the bulb? So the question was asked that if 4 ampere of current is flowing through a bulb, it is entering in a bulb. So you have been asked that if 4 ampere is entering a bulb, how much current will be getting out of the bulb? What will be the amount of that current? And secondly, you can say in the question that this is 4A. So this capital A is standing for, or it is showing the ampere. So instead of writing ampere, they have written down the capital A. Now the answer of the question is the same amount of current, that is 4 ampere, flows out of the bulb. Or you can write in that way also, because of the conservation of charge, the current flowing into a device must equal the current flowing out of the device. So the answer must be 4 amperes. So let me explain the answer, that from the conservation of charge means the amount of charge will remain same when we talk about the current and the electrical appliances or the current flowing through any electrical device. The conservation of charge takes place. Conservation of charge means that the number of charges will not get increased nor they will be decreased while passing through any electrical device. This is conservation of charge, that the number of charges, for example 20 charges were entering any electrical circuit. So when they will pass through this electrical circuit, the number of charges must be 20. If 20 were entering, 20 must leave. So this is the conservation of charge which takes place in every electrical device and electrical circuit or anything that you are studying about the charge. So conservation of charge takes place in this, and the amount of current that will be flowing in and out will be equal. So the answer is the same amount of current, that is 4 amperes, flows out of the bulb. The next question is, what is voltage? Voltage is the force that pushes electrons through a circuit to produce electricity. Current is the act of the electrons flowing through the circuit. The higher the voltage, the more energy each electron is given. As you can see in the figure also, that basically voltage is the force that pushes electron through a circuit, because electrons by themselves, they will not move in the circuit. They need some push, they need some force behind them so that they can move in the circuit. So what is the voltage? Voltage is basically the push to the electrons through which they move in the whole circuit. So greater the voltage means greater the push, greater the force behind them. If this force will be greater, or if this push will be greater, then the large amount of current will be produced, because large amount of electron will be flowing through a circuit, and in a result large amount of current will be flowing. You can see the figure also, that basically voltage is a push which is given to in the figure. You can see it's a fluid, but instead of fluid, when we talk about charges, so instead of fluid you have to consider charges, that they are pushing the charges to flow. So in the same way, charges are pushed in the circuit to flow. So in a result, what will happen? Greater the push, greater will be the amount of electricity that is produced. The next question is, what is the unit of voltage? So the answer of the question is, the unit of voltage is volts, whose symbol is capital V. Now the next question is, what happens to a light bulb in a circuit when the voltage is increased? Explain why this happens. So in this question you have been asked that if you have a circuit in which there is a bulb and you increase the voltage, what will happen to the bulb? And then in the next part of the question, it is asked why it happens. So the answer of the question is, when the voltage is increased, the current through the bulb has to increase as well, which means that if V increases, so does I. So basically, as I explained the previous question, it was discussed in that when the voltage increases, the amount of current also increases, and when the current will increase, the bulb will glow more. So voltage increase means greater the push. Greater the push means lot of electron will flow. Lot of electron flowing means there will be greater amount of current flowing through the bulb, which will make the bulb glow more than before. I hope that you have understood this all. Thank you and have